talk about that a little bit later. Number one, though, congratulations to all of you sitting right up here. That's the big. That's who it's all about. I'm over 70 years old, and I haven't accomplished today what you've accomplished today. Okay? Up to this point, I do not have a degree. I would love to have a degree, and I know you are glad to have your degree, and very proud of it, and I'm proud of you for having a degree. But you know who's probably the most proud? Your parents. So they cut up that damn credit card. See that pile of dirty laundry show up in her living room or in her utility room once a week. So I can tell you that there's many people that's proud of what you have done. I'll just say this, that I will be speaking to you from a business perspective, since if you talk to me for 3 or 4 minutes, you know that I'm not an intellectual. I figured you've had enough academic speak in the last 4 or 5 years anyway. So mine will be coming from very basic roots and stuff that you probably heard, but maybe you need refreshment of some of these points. To begin with, anybody who's persevered for 4 years, going through the drudgery of some of the classes, a lot of them have been interested, some of them haven't been, I know that. It's not been easy to get up out of bed every day and go to school at the appointed time, but you have persevered. And as an employer, that's the thing that I get out of anyone with a degree. That's what I'm thankful of. I don't think you're necessarily any smarter than some other people that don't have degrees, but I think that you darn sure will provide the work ethic and will provide the stick-to-it-ness to get through anything that we present to you. So that's what we respect about anyone with a degree from an employer viewpoint, more than anything else. In my purse, but I can't get them for you. We like that, and it's going to serve us well and all that. But we'll be looking for other things too. Now, since you paid that 4-year price, so I call it, I know that you want success, and that is why you have done what you have done, and why your parents have encouraged you to do what you've done. My definition of success is not a career where you make a bunch of money or be fortunate to assemble a team that has made you a bunch of money, like I have, frankly, but a balance in life. And I call a balance in life really kind of like a 4-legged stool to achieve true success. Number one, you've got to have God in your life.
Amen.
Some of you go on. Number two, you've got to have family as your second priority. All right? Those are the two most important things. What I'm going to talk about is a career, and that's third, frankly. If you don't have those two in place, you're never going to have true success. And the fourth thing you want to try to have is a balance, either recreational activity or exercise plan that you enjoy each and every day to keep you emotionally stimulated, fresh, and somebody pleasant to be around. All right? Because we can get very unpleasant to be around if we just submerge ourselves in our work. Let me tell you that. I've seen people like that. And their intent is right. They want to do the best job they can, but they're forgetting that they have to be good people to talk to and easy to talk to and those kind of things. So make sure that we understand, while I'm going to talk about the third piece of having a balanced life, the other two before that is more important than I'm going to talk about. Just that simple. God and your family. Put them first. Whenever there's a contradiction, that's who goes first. All right. The reason why I use the stool is because you pull either one of these legs out. Imagine a stool with 4 strong legs. You've got plenty of support there if you sit on it. You get up without one of those legs, and sit back down. It's a little bit wobbly. You can still sit on 3 legs if the legs are strong enough, that is, and you can sit there. But you're not as good, and you're not as stable, you're not as firm as if you have 4. You pull out the second leg, and guess what? You can still sit on it, but boy, you got to balance yourself. It's a little teetery, isn't it? It's a little bit harder. And of course, you get rid of the third leg, and you're basically just standing on your legs. So that's the reason why, if you want to maximize your enjoyment in life and your success in life, establish all 4 legs under your stool. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. Number 1, you want the third piece that we're talking about, a career. You want it to be stimulating. You want it to be a place of advancement. You want to have gratification every day if you can when you go home. That's what we're going to talk about. But first, you have to get the job. Guess what? You can't just assume because you got a degree, because there's going to be other people with degrees that's going to be competing for the same job in all likelihood that you are. So you've got to get the job. And that's the first thing we're going to talk about. What do you do to enamor the employer with your abilities, your presence, or what you bring to the table, in other words? How are you going to handle that? Number 1, you've got to recognize that in business, and some people don't understand this, I think most of you will because you've been through some form of business course or whatever, is your people skills. All right, there's going to be plenty of people with technical skills that you have. But what's going to get you ahead and make you feel better about yourself every day too, I might add, but what's going to get you ahead faster in business than anything else after you're hired is your people skills. But unless you recognize that and apply it, it's not going to work for you. So the first thing you have to do is impress a prospective employer or an interviewer, if you will, with your knowledge and your personality, if you will. Some people got natural God-given personalities, some are a little more introverted, a little more withdrawn. If you're in that position, and probably at least 50% will be, sometimes you have to talk to yourself. You have to, in the morning when you get up, before you go to that interview, say, something like one of the billionaires in Chicago used to be at Combined Insurance, W. Clement Stone. Every morning he started out a sales meeting with making his sales staff, and he led it, with 12, I feel healthy, I feel great, I feel terrific. Sometimes you will have to get in front of a mirror and do that. After the workplace, certainly before a interview with someone, repeat it until you convince yourself that everything is good and you get a smile on your face. But you go into that first interview, you want to have, number 1, good eye contact with who you're talking to, okay? You don't look down at the floor and shake his hand and say, I'm here to apply for the accounting job that I saw advertised in the paper or that I heard about. A good firm handshake and look him directly in the eye. All right? You don't have to hug him. And if you're a weightlifter, you don't want to break his hand, but you want it to be firm. There's something called a dead fish handshake. Nobody's interested in that. So make sure that you ingratiate him with some spirit. In other words, that's what they're looking for, because they're looking for these people skills. That's going to blend in well with a team. Number 2, you're going to have to make sure that he understands that you're not just there temporarily, you're looking for a career, some place where you can engage yourself and be there until retirement. Nobody's wanting to train you to leave. Does that make sense? Nobody. So you've got to convince him of that. And the ways that you do that is a couple, really. Number 1, you want to tell him that you want to learn as much about his company as you can. All right? You not only want to learn your job, but to the extent possible, you want to be able to flow and help your other team members, whereby they see that you're interested in them, and whereby you are being cross-trained, essentially, by doing another job. But you've got to convince him that you are interested in a company with a benefit package, where you can not have to leave to go somewhere else to get health insurance for your family, let's say, a retirement plan. That's what they want. They want the stability coming out of that interview that they're looking for, and personality where you are interested in other people, and that you will be somebody that will mesh well with other people, whether it be customers, whether it be fellow team members, or your bosses. And get his and use his name or her name. You know, if it's Miss Garcia, you want to have her name and use it frequently. Everybody likes their name. Everybody likes to be something other than a number. So repeat that during your interview in order to, again, convince them that you have some people skills. If you won't do it in an interview, as I always say, if they can't give me 10 minutes of BS that's positive, what are they going to do when you put them in a seat beside of 3 other people trying to accomplish a job? So you definitely want to express your people skills and get yourself motivated by looking in the mirror. If you definitely, if you feel that you're a little bit down, you're scared to death, get yourself ramped up a little bit before you do that. I did that on the way out here this morning. I wanted to make sure that I was ramped up a little bit. I had a little bit of energy, a little bit of spunk, spirit, whatever you want to call it, to speak to you guys. Because I know you have that because you're happy. You're happy to get out of college. I don't blame you. But that's what you want to express in an interview. And if you don't get the job right on the spot, which is not likely, make sure to leave him with the understanding that he can call you anytime, take questions on your resume, and always take a resume. Don't take a 5-page resume, take a 1-page resume, condense it down, double space it, make it easy to read, because half of them are not going to be read to begin with, and they're certainly not going to be read if they're refined or single spacing in 5 pages, I can tell you that. They're going to look at your name, and if they really like you, they might write down your phone number. That's about as deep as they go, so keep it simple. And go for it. But also emphasize to him, before you leave, his final handshake, again, look at him in the eye, get ready to go down the elevator, let's say, Mr. Smith, I want you to know that I may not express some humility. I may not have all the knowledge that you're looking for here, but I can assure you I will spend the time and the dedication and work with others to better understand what you want until I accomplish whatever you ask me to do. Leave on that note, and you call me if there's anything else, again, that I can help you with. All right. So let's say you get the job. All right. You've sold yourself. They hire you. You're about to come to work. That's when you've really got to have people skills. Don't tell him one thing and then you end up being something else. That's not going to work. In other words, the people skills you have in the interview need to really be, I guess you would say, not only exploited, but used in a tempered type environment where people understand your sincerity. Real important. But just recognize that the people skills just begin when you're hired. Getting hired is not enough. You want to do everything where you maximize possibilities of advancement, where you actually go home every day happy, and those kind of things that I talked about earlier. So what do you start doing right away? You learn your team members' names. So many people, you likely remember your boss's name. That's a given, right? Whoever you're reporting to. You probably got that. But that's not enough. You've got to learn anybody in your group. Learn their name, learn what motivates them to a certain degree, and be in the knowledge that you have to use that constantly, and you have to go for them for help. You use their name. Very, very important that you do this. Use all the courtesy words, all right? Just because somebody is either your peer or maybe don't have an education, and actually you consider yourself above them, and that's another thing. Don't think your degree puts you above them. You get yourself down on the level with who you work with or a little bit below. Never come in above. Never come in saying, I've got this degree, yeah, I know this and I know that. If they offer help that you know 3 times more than they do about, be very grateful for it. Again, that's people skills, pleasing other people. But use the courtesy words with them. Please, excuse me, all these fundamentals that, you know, help me if you can with this. Everybody likes to be called on to be helped or to get their guidance or comments. So make sure that you ingratiate yourself to everybody on your team, and regardless of the level. Make sure and understand that those team members, okay, will likely, if you do that well, they will push you up. You're going to advance. You're dependent on the team to advance. Not many Lone Rangers advance, okay? So get that out of your system. If you think just earning your way will do it, it won't. You've got to have the support of your team. If you do that right and you handle that correctly, they will push you up. If you do it wrong, they're likely to push you down. You've just got to understand that's just the way it is. All right, I've said all that to say you have to have the people skills, but you also have to perform your work. You have to work until the job is done. Forget about the clock. You're not clock type folks. You're career type people that works till the job is done. And make sure you express that to your employer, but you also express it to your team, is I'm going to work till it's done, and I want you to know, team member, that any time that you have anything that I can help with, provided I'm not covered up this high, you call on me. I want to help you because that's how I learn more about this business. So I'm there to help you. That's what the camaraderie and the spirit and the, I guess you could say, the consummation of teamwork is all about, is being there for your fellow team members. Don't involve in any pessimism, okay? Don't involve yourself in any gossip. If they come to you with a situation, complaining or crying, trying to turn it around and put a good face on it, and give them the hope that to get out of whatever has challenged them at that particular time. But be a positive force in the workplace. That's what we're talking about. All right. I said all that to say, if you do that, you're going to go home every day with gratification for what you have done. I'll say most days. There's going to be some days, in spite of what you do, you feel it's futile. But remember this, too. Anytime there's a bleak situation in your job, it's generally not near as bad as you think it is. And on the other hand, if you sailed over the top of the moon, maybe got a big client or something, landed a big contract, it's never quite as good as it is. Somewhere in between is where it's at. So don't get knocked to your bottom, if you will, by some devastating thing that you couldn't overcome that day. And don't fly over the moon if you have something that you think you've accomplished and done before that. But I think that's always important. Obviously, integrity is one of the things that most employers can look at first and foremost. If they don't have integrity, they don't have anything else. You can talk about work ethic, talk about everything else, teamwork, but you're going to have integrity. So be honest with your team members as well as your employer. Total honesty is always in the Said all that to say, this is nothing new. This has been around for about 3,000 years. Look at the Ten Commandments, and 4 of them, the top 4, recognize God and honor God. The last 6 deal with your fellow man. How to treat your neighbor, how to treat your fellow man in the workplace, in your family, wherever. Starting out with honor thy father and thy mother. Ending up with the 10th one, meaning that you don't covet, meaning don't be jealous of your neighbor's house or anything in his. Well, you've got to employ the same thing in your life. And so this is not novel, it's not new, it's established by God himself that long ago. So why would we want to do otherwise or think otherwise, like we're going to change the course of history that's been established for 3,000 years? That's pretty foolish thinking. So I say all that to say thank you for the time that I have had here this morning. I'm honored to have come here, honored that Dr. Watts invited me, and I always will look at what progress that I'm going to take and shake your hand when you come up here. I'm going to take the names. I'm going to be looking for the progress that you've made in the workplace today, even though that's the third most important of that 4-legged stool of success that I spoke of. All right, let's bow our head and with a word of praise for peace. Heavenly Father, we are thankful to be here. We're thankful for all these students and their families who have come today. And most of all, Lord, we wish to ask you through your love and grace to grant them that 4-legged stool of success that we all are yearning for. Lord, we're just thankful that you offer us that opportunity, and we wish that everyone here will find you in their life. In the name of you, Lord, and your Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
John, can I get you to come back up, please? No, you will eventually. We got a small memento. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your commitment to our community, and thank you for your support of the university. Thank you very much.
Special music.
It's now my pleasure to reintroduce the University Choir, directed by Dr. Frank Eichner. They will present for our enjoyment Festival Sanctus by John Levitt. Dr. Dan Haberman, our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, will present the candidates for graduate and undergraduate degrees. Dr. Haberman.
For the candidates for degrees Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Public Administration, please stand and remain standing. President Watts, it is my privilege to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Texas of the Permian Basin, these candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Public Administration. I would now like to describe Latin honors. You may notice that many of the candidates for graduation are wearing burnt orange stoles. These students are receiving Latin honors. Latin honors are a long-standing tradition of the Academy for recognizing outstanding achievement in one's academic coursework. As the graduates are called to walk across the stage to receive their diplomas, you will hear 3 levels of honors being announced. They are cum laude, with praise. These students have a grade point average of between 3.5 and 3.79 out of a 4.0 scale. Magna cum laude, with great praise. These students have a grade point average of between 3.8 and 3.89. Summa cum laude, with highest praise. These students have a grade point average of 3.9 or higher. Would everyone please join me in congratulating the recipients of Latin honors. Also, some graduates are wearing red, white, and blue honor cords. These are our veterans. Will anyone wearing the red, white, and blue honor cords signifying their veteran status please stand and be recognized? Undergraduates, will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, please stand and remain standing. President Watts, it is my privilege to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Texas of the Permian Basin, these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science.